Now before I leave this file, what I want to do is go ahead and do a dimension sketch, or go back to my sketch and actually create a dimension for this circle so that if I create another component outside of this one, I know how big to make it. So I'm going to turn my sketches back on, and in fact I'm going to right click this again and go to Edit Sketch. And I'm going to go up here to Sketch, Dimension, and I'm going to grab this circle here, and I'm going to pull out, and that's going to be, we'll call it 110.75, or 110.734. So that'll be a good enough number. And you know, if I want to actually change that, I can go, let's just make this 110.7. A little bit easier to remember, and when I stop my sketch, it should go ahead and update any objects that we've pulled from that dimension, so that's been updated. So we said 110.7 is the size of this outer circle. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go to New Design, and we're going to make a couple of different designs here. So let's go ahead and save this, and we're going to call this More Pieces. Now I'm going to have multiple pieces within this file, and they're all going to be different components. So by default, this main block right here is actually a component already. It's already activated. If I want to create more components, all I have to do is right click and create a new component, and you can also make components from bodies, which I'm also going to do. So we'll go ahead and do both methods here. However, what I'm going to do with this one is actually base this piece of this object, what I'm going to create, off of a picture. Or, you know, it may say you took a picture in your workshop and you want to recreate something or make something based off of something that's real life. So what I'm going to do is go to Insert, Attach Canvas, and I'm just going to click on this bottom plane here, and I'm going to select my image. I'm going to grab that piece here, and if I go to the top here, you're going to see this is what the piece looks like here. I'm just going to recreate this thing right here really quickly, and if I want to, I can move this thing around on this plane here. I can scale it up and down. I can rotate it if I want to, and another really cool thing you can do is calibrate this to a real life scale. So since that outer tube was 110.7, I believe, I can go ahead and match this diameter right here. So let's say, you know what, I know this real life object is, this diameter right here is 110.7 millimeters, so I can go ahead and do that just by calibrating. So I'm going to click OK, and I've got my canvas kind of set up here. I'm going to go open my canvas section. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to go to Calibrate, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to say you are 110.7 millimeters, hit enter. I'm going to zoom out, and now this object right here is going to be 110.7 millimeters. So it's just a really quick, easy way to go ahead and calibrate your object. So if you brought in like a side view of, say, a handgun, and you know exactly how long or how big any of those dimensions are on that handgun, you can go ahead and calibrate your canvas to that size. And then if I want to, I can right-click, Edit Canvas, and I can go ahead and move this thing around. I'm just going to put that right on the origin here, rotate a little bit, click OK. So now that I have that, I can go ahead and do a sketch over this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on this back work plane here. And I'm going to do a center diameter circle. And since I can now see that, I wonder if I can right click in here, Edit Canvas. Yeah, so I'm actually going to try and center that a little bit better. Okay, and this doesn't have to be exact. I'm just kind of playing around here. So I'm still in sketch mode here. I'm going to hit C for circle. Got my center diameter circle here. And I'm going to make this 110.7. Cool. And just because now I have that, I'm going to go back into Edit Canvas, and I'm going to position this a little bit better. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and recreate the rest of this thing. So I'm going to click L for my line tool here. And actually, you know what? I'm going to click C again. I'm going to do this circle here. And I'm going to do an offset for this one, so I'm going to hit O. Take this circle and offset it here. And I'm going to hit O again. I'm going to take this circle and offset it for this shape, and O again. Take this circle and offset it for this one here. I'm going to click C. So I'm just going to create all these circles here that I see. Now you don't have to do all of these all at once. You can kind of space them out, but while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to hit O to offset these things now. There we go. Good enough. So now I can click L, and I can click and drag, and that'll go ahead and drag a tangent line from this one, and it'll snap to be tangent with that circle as well. I can do the same thing to this circle, click and drag. There we go. Do the same thing to this circle here, click and drag. And we'll do one more all the way here. Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim this up to make sure it's nice and clean. Don't need that here. I can get rid of all these that are kind of overlapping here, since those are just for reference points. And for this piece in here, I'm just really quickly going to hit L, and I'm going to make a line from here to here, and from here to here. And I can go ahead and fill it these later in the when it creates a body or in the sketch, depending on when you want to do it. There we go. And it looks like I got one more circle, so I'll go ahead and make this thing. Perfect. Okay. So I've got this all done. I'm going to go ahead and trim these things back, so I don't need that shape or this one. All right, so I should have some nice clean profiles here. And I'm going to hit F. I'm going to go ahead, oops, not fillet. I want to do a fillet on my sketch, so sketch, fillet. And then that's fine. That's fine. And again, obviously I'm not being very exact, so I apologize to all the CAD people out there that are watching me do this. And I'm going to go ahead and say stop sketch. So now I've got that piece all created. It's all sized the right way that I want it to. I'm going to turn off my canvas here. And now if I want to, I can click this profile, do a push-pull, press-pull, move that up. Looks pretty good. And if I want to go and fillet these edges, I can go ahead and do that. But this is fine for me. So we have this more pieces right here. And let's say we want to go ahead and within this file create some more components that are kind of based off this one. So what I'm going to do is right click this and do new component. And now what I can do is call this one, I'll call it small tube here. And because I have a new component here, but it's not activated. So if I activate this one, you're going to see this one turns into kind of a wireframe outline. So now if I go to sketch new, click this top area here, and really all I needed was this profile. So I'll go ahead and say stop sketch. I can grab this profile here, right click, and we'll do a two-sided. There we go. So now we've got our small tube that's based on this one here. And because the small tube was activated, it threw our body in here. If we go and activate this main part here, it's going to be the main component that has all the components underneath it activated. So if we base any bodies off this one, so if I go to sketch, and you'll also notice that when we had small tube activated, it created that sketch for us that we used to make the small tube. If I go to this main component here, click create sketch, and we'll create a sketch on, you know what, we'll just do it on the bottom work plane here. And I'm going to go ahead and do a sketch project, and I'm going to grab this circle here and this circle here. Click OK. And now when I stop sketch, because I had this main more pieces component activated, it went ahead and threw that new sketch I just barely made into this component. So depending on which component you have activated, it's going to throw your bodies and your sketches into that component that's activated. If I want to see the different colors, I can go down here and choose turn on component color swatch, and that'll actually add color swatches to my components. And then in my history, you're going to see, you know, for example, this kind of salmon colored small tube. History is right here. If I go to small tube and activate it, it's only going to show you the history for that one activated component. So working with components is a really easy way to keep your scenes really well organized. All your sketches that go to your single bodies that go to a certain component can be in its own little area and its own little folder here, as well as your history will be nice and clean. Instead of having a bunch of bodies in one area with a huge amount of history for a bunch of different bodies, all of your bodies are going to be broken out into their own little component histories. Now, because we had more pieces activated and we made that sketch here, if I go ahead and, with more pieces still activated, I'm going to select these profiles here, do a push-pull, and if I pull these up, and we'll go ahead and do a double-sided for this too, click OK. Now what that's going to do is, actually, did we just join those two bodies? Let's see. Yeah, we accidentally joined those. Not a big deal. All I got to do is go back to this one and do edit feature. And instead of join, I'm going to do new body. Click OK. And now it went ahead and did the exact same operation, only instead of joining, it kept it a new body. So now we have this main body here. We have this small tube and this small tube. Now let's say, you know what, I made these bodies, but I kind of want to break them off into their own components, so I have nice organized sketches based on these things, and as well as a nice organized history. That's still not a big deal. All I got to do is, let's go ahead and name these. I'll name this main body, I'll name this one smaller tube left, and then smaller tube right. So I can click both of these, right click, and do create components from bodies. That'll make brand new components, all colored, blue and red, because we have, you know, component coloring on in here. And in fact, I think if you go in here and inspect, you can toggle off component color cycling toggle. So you can actually have the components colored the same as their history in your viewport if you'd like. You can turn that off. So we've got this component here, and if we go into bodies, the smaller tube right is now in its own component. I can go ahead and label this thing. Oops, that was smaller tube right. Let's call it smaller tube R, and this component could be smaller tube L. So now anything I do to these components, as long as I have those components activated before I do it, it'll go ahead and keep it nice and organized. So if I go to here to this small tube right, activate that component, it's going to go ahead and give these like a translucent wireframe. And then if I go in here and go, you know what, for this particular tube, I want to go ahead and do create sketch, go ahead and base a sketch off of this thing here, do an O for an offset. Okay, stop my sketch. Go ahead and grab these two profiles here. Go push pull, and I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to do a join. So I just kind of gave that a little bit of a rounded feature there. So I just added that right. So now I've got small tube here with this activated. It went ahead and just added this history to just this one component. So that's really nice. Same thing as if I go over here to this small tube left over here and do anything to this thing. So if I go, say, create hole on this top plane here, and I need to drag this to the center point, and I need to change the diameter and the distance. We'll go ahead and just punch this all the way through. Why not? We'll go to 2, bottom plane. Okay. And because that component was activated, all of this goes here. And if I do a sketch based off this thing, so we'll just do this top plane sketch here, and I go and open this up, now it has a sketches folder, and it's got a sketch just for the small tube left, just for this one component. So it's a very, very easy way to go ahead and let's just do an offset again on this thing. Fine, okay. Stop sketch. And now we'll go ahead and pull these two profiles up. Cool. So now we've got this shape here, and all of that history, all of that stuff that's going on is in this one activated component. Now, once you've created all these separate components, you can go in and modify them all together at once. If you go to this more pieces, this very top piece right here, and activate this top component, you can see all of these together. So now if I go in here with hit F and just start filleting everything in here, I believe it'll go ahead and give all of these fillets to their own respective component history, if I'm not mistaken. So we've done all these. Let's do a fillet of like maybe 1 or 3 or 2. And of course we can always update this later in the history. So now that we've done all that, all of those pieces are now filleted, and you're able to do it all at once instead of going in here and activating these components individually and doing that stuff. So, and it does look like those fillets, looks like we would have multiple here. So all those different colors. So it looks like if you do activate one component, do fillets, it's a multiple component history. But yeah, you know what, that was faster, so I'm probably going to end up doing that anyways. So we've got this cool piece here. I'm going to go ahead and save this as more pieces and click OK.